Hey, let me hear you say, oh, oh. Let me hear you say, oh. It's been a real hard couple of months, you had enough. But it's been hard for everyone, you're not alone. You've been hurting way too long. Let it go and just move on. Make your way down to the altar, hand it over and leave it there. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. So everything that you've been worried about, you need him to work it out. He'll work it out, yeah. All of your burdens, just bring them all down, yeah. You're gonna get an answer to your prayer if you, I know you need healing, yeah. You're sick of being sick, you need relief. You're tired of the pressure, yeah. You got all the stress and you need some peace. Come on and get your breakthrough. Haven't you been suffering long enough? Make your way down to the altar, hand it over, leave it there. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. So everything that you've been worried about, you need him to work it out. He'll work it out. I love your burdens, just bring them on down, yeah. You're gonna get an answer to your prayer if you, oh, you get an answer. Oh yeah, you get an answer, yeah. So you need to put it on, put it on, put it on. So you need to put it on, put it on, put it on. Oh, prayer changes. See, I know it does. Prayer. So take it to the Lord in prayer. Ask him anything you want, 'cause listen, you've been worried and crying and worrying, but you're not alone. You're not alone, no. See, you have a friend in Jesus, and he knows all about it. And he's gonna do what he promised you, oh yeah. See, everything that you've been worried about, you need him to work it out. He'll work it out. All of your burdens, just bring them all down, and you're gonna get an answer to your prayer if you, it's gonna be alright. 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 So you need to put it on, put it on, put it on. So you need to put it on, put it on, put it on. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, overcomers. Welcome to Resilience Talks, a live series featuring you. And what does that mean? That means that we are here together. This could not exist. This does not work without you. And so I am so grateful to be here with you tonight once again. I'm Octavia, the Overcomer, your host, your curator, motivational speaker, and just someone who refuses to give up, right? And I believe that about each and every one of you as well, that you just refuse to give up. I created Resilience Talks as a place where we could be honest about who we are and where we are on this journey in life, and in the hopes of supporting each other, encouraging each other, and motivating each other to become the best versions of who we are. And so I am so grateful to be here with you all tonight. As always, we are here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. CT for those of you who are in a different time zone than I am. But again, super grateful to have you here tonight. Hello, Padre. Hello, Padre. Welcome in, everyone. I see you guys coming in. Hello, Tamara. Hi, my love. I see you all coming in. I'm so happy to see y'all. I'm so grateful that y'all come in each and every week, every Tuesday night. And let me just say, y'all, we're already on the fourth episode. Like, we're already on the fourth conversation, and it feels like we just started, which is kind of crazy. But it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure being here with you all, having these conversations with you all. So if you're here, put it in the chat. I want to see who's here. And I know that there are some of y'all that's in the background who are may not be able to comment, may be too shy to comment. But listen, we're all a family here. We are all equally going through things, and we are all equally encouraging each other. So don't be shy. And let me tell you one thing. I always put my business out there. I am always, always, always trying to be vulnerable. In a way that's authentic, right? So feel free to comment in the chat. Hey, Lonnie, I see you. Hey, Jasmine, I see you. All right, y'all. I'm so happy to see each and every one of you tonight. Before I get into it, I just wanted to let you guys know, please like, please subscribe, so that when I do go live every week, you will get those notifications. All right, so these past few weeks, we've been talking about, or we've been in this series called Me First, right? And Me First isn't something that's selfish, but it's more so of an ode for us to get back to ourselves, right? Back to us, an ode to connect ourselves to ourselves, right? Because a lot of times we go through life and we forget about us, right? We're busy taking care of our families. We're busy taking care of our jobs. We're busy doing all these other things. And sometimes we forget to take care of us, right? We forget to take care of ourselves, our individual, bodies, our individual mindsets, our individual souls, right? We forget to cater to that. And so this Me First series is an attempt to get back to who we are, right? And to focus ourselves on ourselves. And so I am so happy to be doing this tonight. We've been talking about unveiling our masks, right? And what does that look like? What does that mean? We've been talking about these past several weeks. We've been talking about the mask that we wear, the person that we present to other people, right? The mask that we've created, the mask that's been nurtured by us, by our circumstances, that's created almost like a shadow self, right? Almost like this different version of us. And typically this different version of us is not actually who we are, but it's something that we've been conditioned to hide behind because it's been our armor, right? It protects us from being hurt. It protects us from rejection. It protects us from all these different things. And so over time, this mask has become our identity, right? And that's how we see ourselves, and that's how other people see us too. But my challenge for these past several weeks has been to let down that mask, right? If we're talking about becoming the best versions of ourselves possible, then that means that we kind of have to let that mask down, right? So that we can see clearly who we are and where we are in this journey, right? And we'll talk some more about that as we get into the conversation. But before we do that, I always start us off with an icebreaker. I want to know
for those of you who are here, it's a victory lap. What is something that you are proud of so far? What is something that you are proud of so far? Something about yourself, not anybody else. Something about you, not your family, not your friends. What is something that you are proud of yourself? And it could be this month, it could be this year, it could be something that literally just happened. And I'll go through and I'll read the comments. So let me know. Let me know. I'm looking at the comments. I will say something that I am proud of um, is that this is the second day that I've exercised. And I am very, very proud of myself. And I've been doing it with my sister. She's been we've been encouraging each other, even when we're ready to quit and be like, nah, I'd rather go pick up a snack or I'd rather just sit down and relax. We've been encouraging each other. So that's something that I'm really, really proud of because it's something that I've been trying, right, trying to work at for years, because I've battled with my weight, and I realized that I've been looking at everything wrong, right? I'm thinking, oh, I need to limit myself and I need to lose weight, right? I need to lose this. I need to lose something in the process of this. But really, I'm gaining something, right? I'm gaining my life back. I'm gaining my health back, right? And not just physical health, but I'm gaining my discipline back, right? I'm gaining my spiritual health back. I'm gaining my mental health back. So all of it is intertwined. And so I'm really, really proud of myself. Jasmine, I see the way I've been handling things. Yeah. Yeah. I'm proud of you too. I think that each of us have something. I learned patience. Yeah, that's a good one. We still listen, listen. I'm proud of you because I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning that patience. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still learning patience. I'm still learning how to be patient. I'm still learning how to shut up. Keep sometimes, everything doesn't have to everything doesn't warrant a response, right? So I'm still learning, but I'm proud of you guys for actively working towards these things. And I applaud you because I know it's not easy. None of this is easy when we are becoming, right? That's our word for this year, becoming. We are all becoming. So while we are becoming, I know it's not easy. Tamara, I see you drinking more water, eating healthier in terms of my diet. Yeah, girl. Listen, right there with you, okay? Because baby, it's gotten out of control. But you know what? We are taking steps. We're actively taking steps to do what we need to do to become who we want to be, right? And that's the most important part. Not to dwell on the past or past patterns, but to focus on what steps we can take to move forward. I'm proud of y'all because it ain't easy, and I know it's not easy. I know for a fact that's not easy. For those of you who are coming in the chat, we are just talking about something that we are proud of, either today, yesterday, last week, last month, this year. What is something that you're proud of? And as you're coming in, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm just going to continue our conversation because I know that I don't want to take too much of your time, but I want to be able to have this conversation with you all because it is an important one. Right. So we've been talking about unveiling our mask. And so when we do finally let down our mask, right? And we come about that as we talked about it last week, we come about that by being honest with ourselves, right? Being honest about where we are, being honest about the mask that we've been wearing. What mask have you been wearing? That's what we talked about last week. And so when we do finally let down our mask, right? When it finally does come off, what do you see? Right? What do you see? Are you seeing are you seeing someone who has avoided a lot of things, right? Are you seeing someone who has been rejected? Are you seeing all the things that or all the failures you've had? Are you seeing the mistakes that you've had, right? The mistakes that you've made. When you finally let down that mask, the thing that you've been using to protect yourself, what are you seeing? Do you see someone who's tired? Do you see someone who wants to be successful, who desperately wants to be successful, but is overwhelmed? Like, what do you see when you finally let down your mask? And you can put that in the chat if you're brave enough, right? If you're brave enough to put it there, feel free to put it in the chat. What do you see when you finally let down that mask? And furthermore, do you like what you see? Do you like who you are when you let down the mask? And more oftentimes than not, because we are not perfect human beings. More times than not, we don't always like what we see, because what we see is all the things that we've kind of let fall to the side, right? Our boundaries, the lack of boundaries, right? For ourselves. I'm not even talking about what other people have done. The lack of boundaries for ourselves, the lack of discipline for ourselves, the things that we failed at and we never pick back up again. We see the rejections that we've had. We see the failures that we've had, right? We see all these things. And so, more often than not, we don't necessarily like what we see when we take our mask down. I remember last year I started my very own self love journey, and it was gruesome, right? It was gruesome. There were times where I didn't have explanations for the tears that I cried, right? I didn't even have explanations for why I was crying. I didn't have the words to express why I cried, but it was because I let down this mask that I've had up for so long. This mask of, I'm strong. I can handle anything. I don't need anybody to take care of me. I don't need anyone to help me. I don't need anyone to talk to. I'm strong. I can handle it on my own, right? I had that mask up for so long that I didn't realize that underneath that mask was somebody who was fighting to be seen, fighting to be heard, fighting to be loved, right? I didn't realize it because I leaned into this strong mask, this mask of, oh, I got this. I could handle it, right? I don't need nobody else. And really and truly, underneath all of that, when I let that down, I realized that, yeah, I really did lean into it, right? I really was fighting to be seen. I really was fighting to be heard, and I was fighting for support, and I didn't even realize it until I let it down. A lot of times when we let go of our mask, right? We realize that we realize what we were actually fighting for, what we actually needed. Now, I will say this: when you become aware of the things that or the mask that you've been wearing, don't reject it, right? Because that version of you was someone that you needed to survive at one time or another, right? Don't reject it, right? Awareness doesn't mean rejection. But what it does mean is that now I can see myself clearly. I see myself fully, right? And when I started this self love journey in the beginning, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to fix this. And I just kept looking for things, right? Kept looking for things. And I don't want you to make that same mistake, because there is nothing wrong with you, right? There's nothing wrong with you. There's a lot of things right about you. But obviously, there are some things that require your honesty. There are some things that require your love. There are some things that require your attention. But that does not mean that you have to completely reject it or think that there's something inherently wrong with you. It's almost like an appreciation, in fact, right? I appreciate who I've had to be. I appreciate this mask because it protected me, because it got me from one environment to the next, right? Because it allowed me to move forward in some ways, right? So I appreciate who I had to be, but I no longer have to be that person. So it's not rejection. It's, I thank you, mask. I thank you, past version. I thank you, past Octavia, for who you've had to be, but I can let you rest now because I no longer need to have that anymore. I can be vulnerable. I was at a place last year where I was tired of being the strong person, because underneath it, I really just wanted to be held. I really just wanted to be cared for. I really just wanted someone to say, hey, I see you. Hey, I understand you. Hey, I realize that all the things that you're doing is not just by happenstance, that you are trying. I see that you're making the attempts to change, right? Underneath all of that hard exterior, underneath all of that, underneath that, I just wanted someone to see me, right? And understand me and love me. I was tired of hiding. I was tired. It was exhausting. Do you know how exhausting it is to walk around as if nothing bothers you, as if you can handle the entire world? It's heavy, right? And I'm sure some of you have felt the same way, walking around as if you have to carry the world on your shoulders, you and you alone, right? Some of us feel that way, but it's a mask, right? It's what we use to protect ourselves because people have disappointed us in the past. People haven't shown up for us in the past. But here's the thing, here's what I realized in this self love journey, right? When I finally let that mask down and I realized that there were so many things that I neglected, there were so many things that I avoided because it was too painful. There were so many things that I felt like I could have done better. Out of all of that, right, I realized that what I needed wasn't from other people, it was actually from myself. The love that I wanted, I needed to give it to myself. The feeling of being seen, it wasn't that I needed it from other people. I needed it from myself because I was so caught up in my own standards of, oh, you have to be this way. You have to be that way, that I couldn't see myself, right? And that's crazy. You can't see yourself, but it's true. A lot of us don't actually see ourselves for the totality of who we are. A lot of times we'll nitpick at the things that we don't like about ourselves, but we don't actually see ourselves for the totality of who we are. Padre said, I know the feeling, Diva. Yeah, yeah. A lot of us don't see ourselves for who we are. And so it's easy to nitpick and criticize and, beat ourselves down. But that's not what self-love is, right? That's not what being aware is. It's acknowledging who I was and saying that version of me does no longer needs to exist because I'm moving into a new space now. So all that love, all that attention, all of that stuff, I needed it from me. And so I started that self-love journey, right? And I'm still on my self-love journey. And I feel like maybe you guys can tell. I don't know. I can't speak for y'all, but it's been a journey and I'm still on that journey. And so I have to constantly remind myself, right? When I'm beating myself down about something, or, oh, I could have said that better, after these lives, I'm like, oh, dang, I should have said that, or I forgot to say this. When I'm overthinking things in my head, I remind myself that it's okay. It's okay in whatever situation you're facing. It is okay to be gentle with yourself. Even when you feel disappointed in yourself, even when you feel sad, even when you feel hurt by something that you did to yourself, when you didn't stick to that boundary that you said you would stick to, right? When you said that you wasn't gonna, eat snacks, or you wasn't gonna, catch an attitude, you wasn't gonna have an outburst, right? And you do, it's okay to still be gentle with yourself and say, hey, yeah, I messed up. I did do that, right? I acknowledge that I did do that, but I don't want to be that person, right? I no longer want to be that person. And so the future me will try to take these steps so that I can avoid bringing out that version that I want to leave behind, right? And so that's what this is, right? When you let down your mask, do you like what you see? Because self-love is a practice, right? It's not something that you just do one time and that's it, right? It's not stagnant. It's continuous, right? It's a continuous thing. You constantly have to pour into yourself. Because guess what? There's so many things that will convince us otherwise, that will convince us not to focus on ourselves. People will call you selfish, situations where you want to give, but you don't have it to give will make you feel guilty, right? All of these things. But you still have to pour into yourself and remind yourself that you are important and you are a priority. And your growth is just as equally important as everything else in your life, if not more, right? You are your priority. And I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying it every episode that you are your biggest priority, because a lot of times we forget because we get distracted with all these other things. But the self-love that we have to give to ourselves, especially when we let the mask down, is not to say, oh my gosh, there's so many things wrong with me. It's not to say, oh my gosh, I need to fix all these things. Because guess what? Even if you saw all these things that you needed to fix, you couldn't fix them all at once anyway, right? It's a process. You can't fix everything all at once. What do they say? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You can't fix everything all at once. It is a process, and it happens naturally, right? It involves your body, it involves your mind, and sometimes we see things that we are not quite ready to deal with just yet, and that is okay, right? That is okay. But when you let your mask down, don't be ashamed of who you are underneath that, right? Don't be ashamed. In fact, embrace it. Embrace who you are so that then you can show that appreciation and then move forward in love and not in criticism. So I encourage you all, as you're letting down your mask, as you're being honest with yourselves, as you're growing in your faith, growing in your, in your education, growing in your self-love journey, in your healing journey, I encourage you to continue to love on yourself. Don't beat yourself down. Don't hurt yourself, right? Because we hurt ourselves a lot. Don't talk badly about yourself. And I'm guilty because I do it. I've done it. I'm working on it, right? I've done it a lot in my past, right? Where I beat myself down. And a lot of us do it. It's not just me, but I put my business out there, right? I put my business out there for y'all because I understand that if I'm going through it, I know some of y'all are going through the same thing. So I encourage you all on this journey and the self-love journey, all right, to continue to love yourselves even through the tough moments, even through the difficult moments. Love on you. Hi, Jaira. I'm sorry. I don't know if I said hi to you. Continue to love on you because guess what? If nobody else does it, you got to do it. You will love yourself better than anyone else can. And when you do love on yourself, you won't look for that love in other people. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have love in your life, right? But what I am saying is your own love should fulfill you so that when some other love comes, it's just an addition on to what you already know in your heart. So I encourage you guys to continue to love on yourselves, continue on this self-love journey. That negative self-talk be real, sis. It really do. It really do. It be real, real. And so you have to first be aware of it and then snap yourself back into reality. Because a lot of the times when we're talking negatively about ourselves, it's not even true. Like, it's not even true. It's an exaggeration of some thought we've had about ourselves in the past, right? It's some exaggeration. It's not even true. So, yeah, remind yourself of that. You're not dumb. You're not a failure. You're not stupid. You're not ugly. You're not fat. You're not unsuccessful. You're not incapable. Like, you're not incapable or incapable, right? You're none of those things, right? You are who God says you are, right? And that's the truth. You are who God says you are. Do I need to remind you? The lender and not the borrower, the apple of his eye. You are the head and not the tail, right? You are more than a conqueror. Come on now. Y'all know we've been through this already. Y'all know who y'all are. So when y'all start talking about the negative self-talk, right? When you start going through that situation, remind yourself of who you are. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. Lots of us, we all do, right? You're going to make mistakes, but don't beat yourself down with it. And that's the self-love journey, not just buying yourself flowers and going to the spa and treating yourself and doing all these things. The real journey is loving on yourself in every season, not just the ones that are pretty, right? Not just when we have it all together, but loving on ourselves through every single part of it, right? The tough times, the rough times, the difficult things, when we're stressed, when we're angry, when we're frustrated, still loving ourselves through that. Because a lot of times when we are angry or hurt or upset, we are not ourselves. Let me tell you, we are not ourselves. I tell y'all all the time. I'm gonna say this. I used to be a crash out. Used to trying, we've been working real hard on not crashing out. I am not myself when I crash out at all. And so I've been working at it. I see y'all coming in here. Hi, Miss Rhonda. Hi, Trey. Period, sis. Period, Jara. Hi, Ray. I see you. It's good to see y'all. We've just been talking about the mask and unveiling our mask and Do we like what we see under those masks? Right. And to embrace ourselves for who we had to be, but also celebrate where we're going. And so that's what we've been talking about. And next week, we'll continue on this journey. I hope that these conversations have been helpful to you all. I understand that not everyone is starting their self love journey right this moment. You could have started it before, or you may be starting it in the future. But these conversations are a seed, right? Planting a seed in each of your hearts to let you know that it's okay to love yourself through it all, right? When we're on this becoming journey, there are going to be things that literally have to be ripped up from the root, right? Things that have been in you since the beginning of time, right? Things that have been sown into you since the beginning of time. But we're pulling that stuff up from the root, and then we're planting new seeds, right? New seeds of love, new seeds of hope. And so I encourage y'all, come back next week. Another dope conversation. I love each and every one of you. It's going to be next Tuesday night, as always, at 8 p.m. ET, right here on YouTube. Again, if you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can like it and subscribe it so that you'll get notifications for when I go live. If there be nothing else, everybody, I love y'all and have the best night. I will see y'all next Tuesday at 8 p.m. All right.